Ladies and gentlemen, often on this channel, one of my favorite things to do is cover leaks pertaining to the Switch 2, and you may hear me say, yeah, this is a major leak, or this is a humongous leak, this is one of the most important leaks ever. And I get it, I play the YouTube game, sometimes I might embellish a little bit, but today, in my opinion, this is the biggest Switch 2 leak I guess we've ever got, because for one, this is coming from Nintendo, and two, it's actually showing something we're going to be using for the Switch 2, and in my opinion, probably the most important feature for the Switch 2. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. So, the Switch 2. Why do we want this console? Okay, well we want it just because we want it, but why do we really want this console? Because we want to be able to play the games. And we all wonder, is this thing going to be backwards compatible? Well, I think that all depends what the actual game cartridge looks like. So before we get started, if you could, hit a like and subscribe, it would truly mean the world to me. And let's go and get right into this video. So I could talk for like a minute or two right now to kind of break down what we're doing and maybe stretch this video out to that 8-minute mark. But I'm not here to waste your time. This is very exciting, so let's just look at what the hell we got going on here. So as you can see, the date this was published was July 2nd. That is the day I'm recording this video. These are the inventor's names, the applicant information, assignee information, cartridge with sequentially arranged terminal regions. I don't know what all that other stuff means, but I know what a cartridge is, and it's something we use. So right off the bat, this looks pretty much like a Switch cartridge. I don't know if I have an actual game in my Switch. I should, right? Ooh, I'm actually playing Sea of Stars. I cannot take that out. Hold on. So I have a Switch cartridge right here. For the most part, this looks very similar. It's hard to gauge it, but that one just looks a little bit more wide and just a little bit different, but for the most part very similar. So this right here is very interesting to me because we have a Switch Lite, and a Switch OLED. None of the Switches that we have put the cartridge in right there. Obviously it's very easy to just say, you know, it's going to go on the top somewhere, but it would be very, very easy to put it over here or put it over here. Switch OLED, it's on the right side. Maybe all the consoles, I can't really think right now, but I'm pretty sure it's very similar. So is it going to go right there in the middle and be relatively big if we're using the scale here? The cartridge is like, what, a fifth of the entire top? And the only thing that I can think is to compare it to the DS, to the 3DS. The 3DS cartridge is just a little bit bigger, and this allows it to be backwards compatible. So DS games can work in the 3DS, 3DS cannot work in the DS. Insertion direction, so this is the bottom going down. So this looks actually pretty wide. So instead of it being this way, I wonder if the cartridge is going to be that way, and we're going like this. Because that's the way these ridges are going. Insertion direction, upper region, second region, lower region, first region, front end of the cartridge. Front end of the cartridge? Oh, I guess it's down there. Front end of the terminal? I actually have no idea. I'm very confused.
I'm confused because I'm a nobody. You understand? And you can't kill a person with no body.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
And then here's some actual workings inside. So I look at patents all the time. Even on some of the larger patents, they're like 26, 28 pages. This is 48 pages. Very, very interesting what we're looking at here. Like how these look. It's so strange. I'm trying to compare it. Okay, I think that's very similar because there's like a long bar, 2 bars, long bar, 2 bars. But this has multiple, it's like 2 long, 2 short, 1 long, 1 short, 1 long, 1 short. So a little different than the Switch. Just enough difference to show that this isn't for the Switch and obviously a different console. So seeing it just like this is like giving me the confirmation that this is going to be wider than the Switch game cartridge. It's funny, I've been playing 3DS for like the past month and I just sold it because I did everything I want to do on it. So I don't even have a 3DS cartridge to compare it to right now. But I'm thinking we're going to get something maybe that shape, or at least maybe that size. Does the Switch 2 success count on it being backwards compatible? Because the Switch has sold, I don't even know how much, right? Probably 500 million games or something like that. All those games that people own, if they had to keep the Switch to play them, would they be so ready to go out and buy a new Nintendo console? Especially for being realistic, in that first year, what are we going to have? 40 games, 50 games, something like that. And I know that sounds like a lot, don't get me wrong, but is it really? You know, we're going to get some shovelware, we're going to get some value bin stuff that you see at Target and Walmart, going to get a lot of third-party stuff. And it's funny because I remember reading an article somewhere, or maybe seeing a clip or something, and it was Nintendo talking about the Switch right before it came out. And, you know, the Wii U actually had a ton of games for it, a bunch of third-party support. And Nintendo said, you know what we're going to do the next generation? We're not going to focus on quantity, we're going to focus on quality and just get some of the best games out. And now the Switch has over 12,000 games. But as soon as Nintendo has seen that all these random little games are selling on the eShop and they can make a bunch of money for doing essentially nothing, it was basically open season. The Nintendo eShop truly has some of the worst games that have ever been sold of all time. Like, it's insane. And there's like all these little scams on there where a company will put out a game, it will be in the new Switch games location on the eShop. As soon as it's off of that, they'll just re-release that same game and call it like Summer Edition, Fun Edition, Playtime Edition, Spring Edition, Winter Edition, Ultimate Edition. They'll just keep re-releasing the game so that that same game stays at the top of the new release section of the eShop. So while I would love us to get a bunch of games for the Switch 2 the first year of its launch, I would actually prefer us not to get too many. And the only way that's a possibility is if the Switch 2 is backwards compatible. I think whenever they show off the Switch 2, that's one of the first things they need to address. And if that's the case, I would love for Nintendo Selects to come back. I could actually see that happening this holiday. I think that would be an amazing thing for Nintendo to do for consumers, and from a business standpoint, it just makes the most sense. But especially if the next Nintendo console is backwards compatible. Regardless, it's very fun and interesting to see all these things popping up in patents. We've seen some weird Joy-Con stuff that's definitely not for the Switch. And now we're seeing games. We've seen some other stuff I can't think off the top of my head right now, but Nintendo has to come out soon. Like very soon, and say something. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about all this? Do you think the Switch 2 success depends on if the console is backwards compatible? Or do you think it's time to just move on to a new generation entirely? As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you could. I would really appreciate a follow. And you guys know me, I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.